Hello students, in our last lecture under the topic crop production management we have studied a few things that crop production can be done on three levels. It can either be high cost, it can be low cost, and it can be no cost at all. Under the low cost category of production management, we have studied that use of manure can be helpful to the farmers who are not very rich to buy the fertilizers, so they can use their biological material or biological waste to produce compost or vermicompost or green manure. There were two kinds of manure we have studied. Today we are going to study about high cost production management, which uses the fertilizers for their enhancement of crop production or to increasing their crop production. Fertilizers are commercially produced plant nutrients. Use these words: commercially produced plant nutrients. I also told in last lecture that we are studying fertilizers, manures and organic farming under nutrient management, because to increase the crop production management or to manage the crop production, we have to go through many steps like nutrient management. Another one is irrigation. How do we supply water to our developing crop? It is called as irrigation. Process of supplying water to the farm, it is irrigation. So we will also study irrigation under the crop production management only. And last one is crop patterns. How you crop your plants or seeds, the patterns of planting different seeds in the same field is crop patterns. So these all are under crop production management, but fertilizers, manure and organic farming comes under nutrient management. We have studied that plant also needs nutrients which are provided through air, water and soil. The nutrients which are borrowed from soil are mainly of two kinds, which was macronutrients and micronutrients. One which are needed in large quality, one which are needed in very small quantity. So these were nutrient management. So fertilizers, they are generally commercially produced plant nutrients. They are plant nutrients only, macro either micro, but they are commercially produced, not are naturally present in our soil. These are made up in factories like the one in our Bhavnagar, Excel or Nirma or any other. These factories, they produce fertilizers which contains nutrients. Fertilizers generally supplies nitrogen, phosphorus and potassium. Generally fertilizers are for these macronutrients: nitrogen, phosphorus and potassium. They are used to ensure good vegetative growth. Whenever you come to this word vegetative, it means plants. It deals with plant, not animal. So vegetative growth, for the plant growth, these fertilizers are necessary. Vegetative growth means growth of leaves, growth of branches, growth of flowers. These are all parts of plants, giving rise to healthy plants. So fertilizers are factor which are responsible for higher yields because it provides macronutrients which are responsible for growth of leaves, branch, flowers, and this is what we need, higher yield or higher production. And they are, if they provide higher production, they are also high cost farming. As I said before, it comes under high cost farming. Not all the farmers of our country can afford this use of fertilizers. There are also manual for the use of fertilizers that it should be applied carefully in terms of what? Carefully in terms of dose. How much fertilizer is needed? Time. When should we spray our fertilizer on the soil? And observing pre and post applications means what are the changes before you sprayed your fertilizer or before you used and after you used. These precautions should be taken. For example, sometimes fertilizers get washed away due to excessive irrigation, because once you spread your fertilization, plant also needs water, so you start to irrigate them, and if irrigation is excessive, water is excessive, it will wash away our fertilizer, because fertilizer once spread it will be present in soil and water passes through the soil, it will take away the fertilizer. So this will lead to pollution of water, because fertilization are supposed to be present in soil but they are being held out with water, and water will go ultimately into groundwater. So it will contaminate our groundwater, because excessive amount of nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium in our groundwater is not healthy. So the fertilizers should be applied carefully. And fertilizers are generally produced in factories. That's why excessive use of this fertilizer will lead to, we discussed this in previous chapter number 14, that excessive use of fertilizer will decrease our soil fertility. Soil fertility means our natural essence of soil will be lost, because if it is, when this soil is suitable for farming, when in soil natural organic matters like our nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium are present in perfect amount, but if excessive use of fertilizer will kill the microorganisms present in our soil. These microorganisms will killed by fertilizers, and these microorganisms are very important to maintain soil fertility, because nitrogen is present in only air, it is gaseous, but it is fixed in the soils by microorganism. Likewise, every nutrient has its own cycle in which microorganism comes early or later, but they are important. So if excessive use of fertilizer kills microorganisms, the soil fertility will be decreased, so it is also harmful. We have to use it carefully. Now last one, which is organic farming or no cost production. What is organic farming? Organic farming is farming system with minimum or no use of chemical fertilizers. There is no use of chemicals, not fertilizers, not herbicides. Herbicides means chemicals to destroy herbs or excessive weed, extra grass which grows in our land. We have to kill them. We generally kill them with herbicides. Likewise, the insects which are harmful for our plant are killed by pesticides, and nutrients are given by fertilizers. These all are commercial products. But in organic farming, none of these commercial products are used. So how does the functions of these chemicals done in organic farming? Let us study. In this organic farming, generally recycled farm waste, like we have studied in manure, the farm waste is very important. It means it can be recycled, like straw which we have studied that in cereals, where upper part contains our grains, the lower part is not used in any, or it is not productive, so they are generally used in manufacturing of manure. Straw is generally used in green manure, and livestock excreta, these are generally recycled, and for this will fulfill the function of fertilizers, because it will produce manure. Now what will fulfill the function of pesticide and herbicides? It will be bioagents. Bioagents means they are organisms which will help, like culture of blue-green algae in preparation of biofertilizers, neem leaves or turmeric specifically in grain storage as biopesticides. When these grains are stored, they are stored with neem leaves, which will act as, neem leaves means limdo, which will act as biopesticide. It will destroy the insects or any other pesticides present in them. So this is organic farming. Every no chemical is used in this. Everything used is biopesticide, bioagents, manure. All are in manure. Biological waste is used. So this is organic farming. Cropping system is also applied. Cropping system is also a part of organic farming, but we will study it in different topic. So this is organic farming. Now let us move on to our next topic, which is irrigation. What is irrigation? Irrigation means to water our crops, give water to our crops, or total system of watering our crops. Most agriculture in our India is rain fed. What is rain fed? That most of our farmers depends on the rain for water. Most of our areas in our country are time dependent on timely monsoons, because we are very short of water. So how the monsoon goes will decide that how the farmers will grow their crops. In our India, most of the areas are having very high rainfall every year, and some of the areas like our state Gujarat, Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh, which are generally having short monsoons. So these poor monsoons can cause our crop failure. So to ensure that our crops get water at the right stage during their growth season can increase our expected yield, because all we talk about is yield. We want just production. So for the irrigation in India, we used many different kinds of ways. We will study these main 4 ways which we use to irrigate our farms. India has very wide variety of water resources. We know that because we have ponds, we have lakes, we have grand rivers, very large rivers. We also are very rich in groundwater. So India is very wide variety of water resources. So under such conditions, several different kind of irrigation systems are adopted to supply water to our agriculture. Let us see what these are. These are wells, canals like our Narmada canal, river lift system, and tanks. Let us study each of them. What is wells? There are generally two types of wells: dug wells and tube wells. In dug well, water is collected from water bearing strata, means if there is any kind of water reservoir near your farm, you will just draw a well from that water reservoir up to your farm. If this is the farm generally dug, or you can say that land is dug from this water bearing strata to your farm, so it will give you this water. In tube wells, the tap water from deeper strata is collected, like our you can say dar. In what happens in dar, water present in very deep strata, means if this is the land of our earth crust, if groundwater is present here, we generally make a dar and use tube wells to gather water from these dars. So this is wells kind of irrigation, in which dug wells and tube wells are used. Now you are quite familiar with canals. These are usually elaborate and extensive irrigation system, because it is generally used from very large rivers like Narmada, but it reaches the water from Narmada up to our district also. So you can imagine where is Narmada and where is our district. So these are very elaborate and extensive irrigation system. In this system, canals receive water from one or more reservoir. It can be Narmada, it can be any other water reservoir from rivers or any lake or pond. And main canal, if this is the main canal, it is divided into sub branches like this, then also sub branches, and it leads to every near farmer or farmland in near to this river. So this is canal type of irrigation system. What happens in river lift system? If there is any area where this canal flow is insufficient or irregular due to any, maybe anything can be the problem, reservoir release or lift system is more rational, where water is directly drawn from this river. If there is any river near your farm, water is directly drawn from these rivers for supplementing irrigation. And last one is tanks, in which small storage reservoirs like બધાની વાડીએ કૂવો એક હોય જ તે, તો this is tanks in which they can store our water, and in time of very short of water, this water stored in tanks can be used. So these are the kinds of irrigation which we used in our country. We will study cropping patterns in our next lecture, which is last part for the crop production management, after which we will study crop protection management. How can we protect our crop from different pathogens. Thank you, students.